Uganda. Winston Churchill called it a pearl of Africa more than 100 years ago. Since then, more and more visitors travel to this former British colony in the eastern part of the continent. The area of Uganda is approximately 3 times bigger than the area of the Czech Republic, and most of the iconic African animals live here. Apart from the beautiful nature, tourists admire the rich tribal culture and enjoy the friendly atmosphere. We also want to see the big animals in the national parks, but the main target of this expedition will be something else: the venomous snakes. Uganda is home to some fascinating species, which are disappearing quickly from nature. Will we find them? Are there any populations left in Uganda, or is the situation as bad as in other parts of Africa? We start to explore the nature and culture of Uganda slowly, and our first destinations are in the national parks. It would be a pity not to see some big African mammals. But as we soon find out, just traveling in Africa can be a thrilling adventure. The Queen Elizabeth National Park is home to big cats and also huge herbivores. The young lion has a radio collar on its neck, so the scientists can track its movement. This place is famous for its big herds of elephants, which can be seen from a close distance on the Kazinga Channel. The hippos are also very abundant here. After seeing their big mouths, it is not difficult to understand that they are the most dangerous animals in Africa. They are often fighting, even with the other individuals of their kind, and the multiple scars on their bodies are proof of that. We keep a safe distance from these giants. The same is wise when you meet a herd of elephants. We let them cross the road and then continue. The banded mongooses are not so dangerous, and we can observe them from a close distance. Scientists from the Exeter University in the United Kingdom study their social behaviour in Queen Elizabeth National Park. We join them and track these charismatic carnivores. Some animal species like zebras, impalas or elands can be found only in a few locations in Uganda. We saw these 3 herbivores in Lake Maburo National Park. A very unique place in Uganda is the Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary. In 2005, southern white rhinoceroses were introduced here. Northern white rhinoceroses went extinct in this country in the 80s of the 20th century. These mammals are reproducing well in Ziwa, so their population is growing. It is a unique experience to track the rhinos and stand so close to them. Chibale National Park is home to 13 primate species. It is the highest number in any protected area in Africa. Most people visit this place because of chimpanzees. There are several habituated groups in the park. Spending some time with our closest relatives and observing families with babies is an unforgettable experience. It is truly important to save the last remaining pieces of wilderness so the animals like chimpanzees will still have enough space for their survival. The most exciting mammal tracking is the one in the southwest of Uganda because mountain gorillas live in the high altitudes in this part of the country. The population of these apes in Bwindi National Park is stable thanks to the effective protection. But as a species, they are very endangered, with only about 1,000 individuals in the world altogether. More and more people want to see these gentle giants, and they are willing to pay several hundreds of dollars to spend 1 hour with gorillas. This money is used for anti-poaching activities, forest protection, and the support of local communities. There are strict rules during the gorilla tracking. The visitors can't try to get close to the apes, but curious babies sometimes approach and touch the strange creatures in their territory. The mountain forests are not only a habitat for gorillas. Many smaller animals share this area with them. We just need to observe the surroundings carefully. The Johnston's chameleon is impressive. It has a sexual dimorphism, so the females don't have any significant features on their body, but the males carry 3 big horns on their heads. They use them during male combat over territory. We are happy with the first reptile finding, and now we want to continue for the search of venomous snakes. For that, we need to head back to the lowlands. Searching for snakes is a very different activity than the safari in the national parks. We travel to the Ugandan countryside to meet people who are interested in snakes. We don't know about any researchers or conservationists. Soon we arrive to the farm of a snake exporter. We are interested in his job, legislation connected with the export of wild animals, and his opinion about the remaining populations of snakes in the wild.
So you want to pull it out?
Okay. Seba.
Uganda is still virgin and vast with animals. Why? Because of the laws. Because of the laws and because the government is using regulatory powers. If you see companies like this one, you find there are very few. We are only like 3-4 companies that are active. But when you go to Tanzania, you find that 400 companies, yeah, 400 companies doing export of wild animals. So this one becomes a little bit tricky for the survival of wildlife. And many people who are practicing, they're not, they're not experienced and they're not educated. Because even if you have the experience and you're not educated, you can read. Because the main language of communication will be English. Even if you're proud of speaking Czech language, Japanese, everywhere you go to access knowledge, you'll have to use the medium of communication as English. Yeah, so this is also the illiteracy will also cause extinction of animals because people are not aware of what exists.
Yes.
So the government does not come up to teach these people how to prevent snake bites, how to handle them, what. So instead of the company partnering with individual companies like us to teach the masses, it is one of the ways that will, bring back wildlife to shape. Because when people learn this animal is of importance, they will not kill it. Several people bring these animals here. Gaboon vipers and rhinoceros, they're rare because of the too much demand on the pet market. So, it's the growing desire of these animals, generally in the world, because people in Asia are just starting to have pet life. Usually it was too much in Europe, Germany, even in Czech, people are just growing that heart of having pets, even dogs. So that it's just growing. So the too much demand will cause the extinction. That's why governments are adopting the issue of breeding in captivity. So if you don't breed in captivity, you cannot export. So if you breed, you'll export. So this is it. And even these animals are a little bit easier to breed because their mating and what you have to know their cycle. When do they mate? When do they give birth? What do they need? Yeah, because when you look at them in the wild, the same environment that you find them in is what you depict, and then you enact it, you camouflage it on the farm. That's how you can keep them. But if you don't, and you're going to keep them, that's why many people are buying in Europe, because they die. They don't adapt the same environment in Africa. They think what we do in Africa is stupid. But these animals, we know much more better how they live here than they do. Because of the sunshine and the changes of the environment, you will discover that these plants are drying a little bit. So they are shedding, and it's their season of shedding. But I'll have again those plants that I keep in, which are succulent, because they keep water, and some of them will drink. The small ones will drink on the leaves. So some of these ones here, I have the ones that I bred. I exported some, and I remained with some.
This one you bred here?
Yeah. So you see, so I get this cage down. It's open, so I put them in. You get. So I put the soil halfway. I plant in these trees. So the trees will go high and then will shelter outside. So the animal feels it's home, it's in the bush.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and even it's cooler, the way they live. Even when you look at the leaves that they camouflage with the leaves, we pick them from other trees. That's when they dry, they look the same as it. And that's why we have them like that. It's a female.
When somebody will want to buy these gaboon vipers, they will go for a long journey. Most probably they'll end somewhere in Europe or in the USA in the hands of private keepers. The price of these snakes is about €500 for adults. Our goal is to find the rare venomous snakes in their natural habitat. We travel to the remote area in the countryside where tourists normally don't come. A local snake hunter welcomes us to his village. He sometimes works for the snake seller whose farm we visited. The people in the village are excited by our visit and they are very friendly. Almost everybody comes to see us, and especially children are excited by our cameras and other equipment. While the young ones are playing, the adults are chewing a plant called cat.
He wants to try gatti. He wants to chew.
Is it safe?
Is it safe?
After chewing it, just throw it out.
Yeah, he should
Throw it.
throw it out. Yeah, musí se play not like.
Not take it.
No,
Not eating
not,
it and
yeah, no eating.
just chewing it.
Just chewing it.
After meal.
After meal?
Okay.
Oh, what?
You sell it. It is a cash crop.
You sell it?
Yeah.
Huh? To the city or?
Yeah, there's some people who come and buy it and take it to the city, and start selling to people who chew it.
And it's common here?
Yeah, it is common. Everybody here. No matter how
Everybody
big
sees.
you are.
The cat has a similar effect as amphetamine, and it is very common in the northeastern parts of Africa. We start to be part of some habits in the village, and we play football with the children. It seems that bringing a new ball was a very good idea.
Children, this is new football for you.
Yes.
Let's go play professional football. Yeah?
It is clear from the excited and smiling faces of every boy and girl around.
Football. Play. It's a big football.
During halftime, we have fun playing cards. It is not a problem to communicate, even with the fact that some children know only a few words in English.
Hey, continue.
We gain the trust of the locals, and they give us a small baby for a while. They believe that it will bring her luck. Uganda belongs to the more developed countries in Africa, but there is still a high mortality of children. The parents didn't give a name to the baby so far, but will do that later, if she survives. Small helmeted chameleons are moving in the bushes near the houses. We use this opportunity to educate children about these lizards. We show them that they are not dangerous. Many people in Africa have a panic fear from chameleons. They believe that they are poisonous or possess bad magical power. Most of our time we spend with the hunter in the forest, and we search for snakes. The first 2 days are frustrating because we cannot find any snake even after walking for several kilometers. But the card is turning now. Our first snake is an amazing one.
Co tam je? Co? To fakt? Wow. Kde? Nevidím ji furt. Aha, tady je. Wow. Wow. Tady, pojď sem.
Wow.
Oh.
The rhinoceros viper is the rarest target species of our trip. It lives only in the primary forests, where it is camouflaged in the leaf litter. The snake is deadly venomous and capable of a fast strike. We film and photograph a beautifully coloured adult individual. The most striking feature of this snake is the presence of horns on its nose. So far, it is not known for what purpose this species has them. The hunter shows us how he usually catches snakes. Any mistake could be fatal in this situation.
And you always do it like this.
Yeah.
I have to make a picture. You are a brave man.
We are doing well now, and we soon find a green bush viper. This species and other vipers from the genus Atheris have interesting scales which give them a look of small dragons. Bush vipers are favourite snakes of many keepers, and they are often exported from Africa. The green bush viper is doing well in captivity, and breeding is not very rare. We are happy that both vipers which we found will stay in the forest. The next day in the morning, the hunter finds another snake, the forest cobra. Many people from the village go to the stream to take water, so we have spectators when working with this snake. There are about 20 species of cobras in Africa, and the forest cobra is the longest one. The adults can be about 3 meters long. It is known for its nervous attitude, and this youngster is not different. Filming and photographing of cobras is always interesting because of their attractive defense behavior in the standing position, with the neck rib spread to form a typical hood. Cobra reacts mostly to movement and definitely not to sound because it is deaf. When it feels it is safe, it doesn't have the hood and can resemble a non-venomous culebrid snake. Unfortunately, this can lead to a misidentification by villagers and deadly bites. We are coming to the forest every day. We found another beautiful green bush viper. It is interesting that not much is known about the venom of these snakes. The antivenom has not yet been manufactured. It is different with the rhinoceros vipers. We found a big female with a weight of about 3 kilograms. Such a big snake has enough venom to kill an adult human, but it is avoiding any contact with people. The venom is used for subduing its prey, and it is used for defense only when there is no other option left. The keepers admire venomous snakes because they are beautiful and colorful, but also because they are dangerous. The rhinoceros viper has all of that, and it is one of the most favored species in the venomous snake pet market. The only animal which is more wanted is the hybrid between the Gaboon viper and the rhinoceros viper. We cannot believe that we see the hybrid from nature here. Keepers would pay thousands of dollars for this snake. Every hybrid has a different combination of features from both parental species. These hybrids are called gabinos. The hybridization in captivity can be quite successful, but to see a gabino in the wilderness is very rare. We know how lucky we are. The hunter has been going to the forest since he was very young, and he has seen a gabino only for the second time. Both gabino and a big female rhinoceros viper will be given to the snake seller. Female is suitable for breeding, and the gabino will be sold to Europe or the USA. This is how it works, and the buyer will probably be found quickly. We would like to release the snakes back to the forest, but we understand that the people from Uganda want to earn money for a living. We arrived to another location which is drier, and it is a working area of another hunter. During wandering around villages, we see some interesting things other than snakes. It's obvious that people from Uganda are skillful and find many ways how to earn some money. Plantations are a good habitat for the puff adder. It is probably the most dangerous snake in Africa. If it is provoked, it strikes with incredible speed. Moreover, the snake is adaptable and lives in the vicinity of people in the agricultural land. Puff adder is not so wanted on the pet market as gaboon or rhinoceros viper. The colour of the snake is not so prominent. Its behaviour is unpredictable, and it's common. It is time to know more about the life of the hunters and see what kind of relationship they have with snakes. We want to know why they do this job and if they know the risks.
My special work, I'm trapper of animals plus snakes. Another job, I'm a farmer. It is 7 years since I started. It is a good job. You'll earn in small money, which will help you in life. I go in the forest, I collect, When Emma called me that we need this and this, instead of going and look for them, I answer him that already I have it. You come and pick it and take it to the zoo, or there's somebody who needs it to export it, so it will just be easier. If she wants to go in the forest and look how they live and how we can get them, yeah, even that is easy for us to go with him, and we show him everything. Because I have no boxes now, I have to get some money so that I construct those boxes, so that if I get, sometimes like in season, like beginning of January, like these gaboons and nascons, they'll be females and they'll be pregnant, so that we collect them, we keep them. In March, they'll be producing babies, so there's other people who need only babies, so that we sell to them. Yeah. Then these adults, then we take it back to the wild. Then sometimes, then we take it the wild. Maybe another time we can find them when it is already again pregnant. So the government here, they are emphasizing people to breed. Yeah, because some of people, they don't know how to manage keeping animals, because they want you to first breed food of giving them, so that they come and see that you have a lot of food which you can manage to give them to eat, so that they can survive. At the time as I was starting, I was fearing, you know, because it is dangerous. When it bites you, you can die. But when you, when you really go slowly, you'll know that snakes, really they are dangerous, but when you go slowly, when getting interested in something which you are doing, so you love it. It's like that. For me, even if I see somebody beating the snake, it annoys me. Instead of beating, you just chase it and goes back to the world where it lives. Because I don't like, because for me now, I know that if I get it, I earn something from it. Instead of killing it, it is better to leave it and go. That is why I like it, because I earn in some money. Even they are beautiful things, even if they are dangerous, but they are somehow good. I've been bitten by a snake called vine snake. They told me that you are going to die. Even me, I was afraid of that. Even I didn't sleep the whole night, because somebody was saying, you are going to die, you are going to die. I said, no. Instead of being there, telling me that you cannot die, by every person coming to you, seeing your legs coming big, is telling me that you are going to die. They are giving me different local medicine. You take this, take this. So that God helped me. I survived, but the leg was big. It takes like 3 days. It started to come slowly. The pain start coming down until I was healed, because I didn't use any. And they didn't take me for the for the hospital. They didn't. For us, we use here normally local medicine. If you are bitten, even Gaboon, Pafada, the medicine are the same. It is a tree. Just they give you its roots, and you swallow it. You take in some of it.
It seems unbelievable that somebody could survive the bite of gaboon viper just with usage of traditional medicine. Despite the size and weight of the snake, it is almost invisible in the leaf litter. Villagers can simply step on it. In Uganda, gaboon vipers live also in the secondary forests and plantations, so the encounters are more usual than with rhinoceros viper. Gaboon vipers are also more often exported from Africa. This snake ambushes its prey. It can wait for a long time and then strikes with incredible speed. The success of the hunt is ensured by the longest fangs among all venomous snakes. They can be 5.5 centimeters long. This individual is ready to be sold to one zoo in Uganda. There is one snake species which hunters don't export. The rough-scaled bush viper is a relative of the green bush viper. It usually dies within a few months in captivity, and breeding is unsuccessful. Many keepers from around the world would like to buy the snake, but the hunters don't want to send rough-scaled vipers to their death. This species has a very patchy range and lives mainly in the wet localities where it hunts frogs and probably also invertebrates. We still haven't found one of the most common and well-known venomous snakes, the mamba.
Mamba skin.
Yeah,
So it's a big mamba.
it's a big mamba.
There is a Jameson's mamba on the tree at a height of 5 meters. It takes us a while until we recognize what the hunters are going to do. They want to catch the snake in the treetop. We are amazed when we see that the 13-year-old hunter's son climbs up and then his father follows. Mamba is holding firmly, and the hunters try some rough techniques to get the animal down. Finally, they manage to catch it with the snake tongs, and the hunter gets down with a 2-meter-long mamba in his hand. They have a bigger respect of the mamba than to the vipers. It is reasonable because the mambas are fast, clever, and they don't hesitate to bite when they feel threatened. The neurotoxic venom can kill an adult human within hours. Mambas need it to kill birds quickly, so they don't need to fight with the prey too much.
First
No,
wait.
no.
First wait.
The hunters have another mamba, which they caught before we came to visit them. Both snakes are old and about 2 meters long. Both of them are going to shed their skin, so their color turned to grey, and one of them even has cloudy eyes. Mambas have some of the skin damaged, but that will disappear after they shed. These mambas will not be used for export, and we are happy to film and photograph them before releasing them back to the forest. At least we saw how dangerous the work of snake hunters can be in some situations. Jameson's mamba is one of the 3 species of green mambas in Africa. They live in the forested areas and spend most of their time in the canopy. Their eyesight is great, and they are one of the fastest snakes in the world. We end our expedition with this beautiful snake, and now it's time to travel back home. There are still iconic venomous snakes in Uganda. These reptiles have an important role in the ecosystems, and they deserve to be protected. Some species are not only threatened by destruction of their habitat, but by people killing them who fear them. The next threat is the big demand of keepers from Europe, the USA, or Asia. The snake bred in captivity are not so plentiful, so more and more individuals are being taken from the wilderness. We think that the breeding of snakes in Africa can at least help to solve a bit of the problem. But the number of exported snakes should be definitely not so high. Over-collecting can lead to a critical decrease in wild populations. The future of Gaboon vipers and other beautiful snakes is not only in the hands of African people, but also keepers from around the world.